gamers, it's your homie C-Rod, and today I'm going to give you the top 5 meta decks in Dragon Ball Super card game as of this date. So the reason I wanted to make this video is because lately at Saturday mornings core TCG tournaments that we live stream on our channel, so every Saturday morning if you have nothing to do, make sure to stop by to our channel to check out the awesome deck profiles that all these pretty good players are playing, and these are the decks that have been winning. So let's start it off with number 5 for me. I'm gonna give it to Son Gohan. Son Gohan is an amazing leader. He's able to take his own life, then switch itself back to active mode, and that right there is pretty good pressure onto your opponent, forcing them to drop down to low life, and then you could awaken and give your leader a triple strike by taking one of your lives and a 10k boost, so he becomes a 25k triple strike, plus he could go back to active mode and then go in with another triple strike that very same turn. This guy is very good, aided with the new set 10 cards like Dormant, which is a counter that stops your opponent from being able to do multiple attacks during that one turn. And on top of that, add a Unison, whichever Unison you want. You could add the Bardock, which kills a combo card when your opponent's comboing, allowing you to pressure and solidify that triple strike going in, and then obviously add the feed Kamehameha to make it a triple strike critical, so those 3 lives go straight to the drop zone. And this is the Gohan. People right now are looking like they're playing the mono green version of this Gohan, but honestly every version of this Gohan is really strong, so you decide what version you want to build, but Gohan for sure deserves the number 5 spot because it's been topping a lot lately. So now we're going to go to the number 4, and the number 4 goes to Shenron. The reason I'm giving it to Shenron, or Omega Shenron if you want to call it like that, is because it's just a very overpowered leader that has a very strong engine that is consistently winning a lot because of the Shenron engine. Honestly, the Shenron engine uses the 1-drop negative energy 1-star ball, and for 1 energy you're able to put this card in the drop area, get yourself the 4-cost Shenron that locks your opponent's leader or battle card, meaning it won't be able to attack next turn, which is key to stopping your opponent from drawing a card, which is awesome. And then for 1 more energy, if I'm not mistaken, you're able to evolve the big Omega Shenron, or the big Shenron, the 9-cost Shenron, that's just a block of revenge and negates anything that comes out onto your opponent's side of the field that turn. That's crazy. So if your opponent's bringing out a quadruple striker to kill you, well, guess what? It's negated for the turn. This is a very powerful engine, and then on top of that, the leader, what it does, it searches out the engine, so it's very consistent and awakens when you happen to have 3 lives or less, or you're able to awaken if you happen to have a 4-cost specific Unison card on the field, which a lot of people like running the Chikabura to be able to awaken, and the Gogeta Unison, which is super strong with any yellow leader because the Gogeta Unison allows you to drop 2, draw 2 to give it a marker, and if all your energy is in rest mode, your leader also gains an additional 5k boost during your opponent's turn, allowing you to survive long enough to bring out Machikabura, steal your opponent's card, and also awakened. So that is Shenron. Definitely a must play. I'm giving him my number 4 spot. So for the number 3 spot, this spot is going to be going to the one and only Frieza, the starter deck Frieza, where no Saiyans are allowed. This is a starter deck that actually is meta defying because of the fact that what it does is it just completely destroys your opponent's hand. It literally gets your opponent's hand and then drops it down to like around 2 to 3, and then you can run cards like Ribrianne. Ribrianne is a very powerful card. It's a draft box card. It's a very expensive card. That card right there, what it does, it allows you to discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand by sending the card from the drop to the warp. That's 2 cards discarded. And then if you guys want to check out the actual deck profile that a lot of people are running. Check out Brian Samuel's build. He's the national champion of Dragon Ball Super card game. It'll be up in one of the little cards or over there. It'll be up somewhere. But for sure, check it out. The deck runs all sorts of craziness. It runs the Zarbon promotional card. This deck, without that Zarbon promotional card, isn't as powerful. So if you want to build this deck, you definitely need to get yourself that Zarbon, because that Zarbon, when it gets KO'd, you're able to discard one card from your opponent's hand if your opponent has 5 or more cards. And then if you KO'd them with your leader, you're able to force your opponent to discard another card from their hand. And then you could run the Unison Cooler, which is going to be the most powerful Unison I think there is in the game, because it brings out a Meta Cooler token with 15k attack, and it also lets you drop 1 to draw 2. Insanely strong. This deck just survives in the long term, also because of the healing pod, that whenever a card comes back from the drop, and onto the field, you're able to draw a card, keeping your hand healthy and completely destroying your opponent's hand. So that's the number 3 spot. Let's go to the number 2 spot. The number 2 spot is going to be going to Son Gohan, the burn damage Son Gohan. This leader is pretty good on its own. I always thought he was good. You're able to get 2 cards from the top of your deck, place them in the drop area to take a life, and then force your opponent to take a life. That right there is instant damage. And then since you do instant damage with a skill, the next thing you're going to be bringing out is the Bardock, the 3-drop Bardock from set 10, and expect set 10 on our channel this Saturday midnight. We're going to drop the booster box openings of set 10. The set 10 pulls are amazing, so definitely stay tuned. Midnight, July 4th, you definitely want to watch it. But yeah, this card comes out. He's a double striker from set 10. For free, no energy required. If your opponent takes a damage, you attack with it. If your opponent activates counters, he'll go back to active. You can attack with it again. And then ultimately, it kills you with just 2 energies, because you also run the Universe 3 cards like Nigrishi and Viera that come out onto the field by sending a certain cost specific to the warp, if I'm not mistaken, or to the drop, and you get to bring Nigrishi or Viagra onto the field and pressure your opponent some more like that. This deck is just full-on aggro. It could drop you down to 4 lives with just 1 energy. If anything, I think this one deserved the number 1 spot, but it just recently started topping at the tournaments. So now, the number 1 spot, everybody knows it. I don't even have to say it, but it's Vijenx. Vijenx, ever since it came out, it's been winning first place every single week for the past 5 weeks or so, or 3 weeks that it's been out. This deck right here has been non-stop W's because it's so easy to pilot and it's so powerful to play. All you do is activate its Burst 5 ability to get 5 cards from the top of your deck to the drop area. And then, depending on the cards that you dropped, you get to bring them out onto the field without any energy. So you just activate effect, spam out the field, attack you to your ultimate death. Cards you can spam out are cards like the Pseudo Combo Supreme Kai, that's a 10k boost, which is so darn strong. You could burn out the Trunks, which is a 3-drop that you can swap into Nigrishi, and he's also a blocker. You could also swap out the Vegeta, that's a 4-cost, where you could swap the Viera, that's now you have multiple attacks. It's just very powerful. The U3 engine makes all these decks powerful, and I feel like U3 might get hit at one point because it's too powerful. So Vegito is definitely a must run, and then people have different variants. They have the one that burns damage with the Mass Saiyan, or they have the wide mid-range where you bring out battle cards with Kid Goku engine as well. So either way, Vijenx, ultimate power. You want to win, Vijenx is the way to go, but it doesn't mean it won't lose to the other decks that I mentioned. So that is going to be the end of the video. Hopefully you guys like my top 5 decks in the format, and if you guys want to participate in Core TCG's Saturday morning tournaments, they're free, and you can win a draft box if you win first place. All you guys got to do is just make a deck and play it out, and you never know, maybe your deck wins first place. So that's going to be in this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit me a like if you guys like these type of videos, and I'll drop more of these. And like we always say, y'all stay super.
Awaken now, beast mode. Victory strike that mic. J's on my feet while I
triple strike. Going in for game, you wish you did the same. Here comes the fool, I pity the fool. Double strike, draw two, who would've